Hey y'all, and welcome to the Max Life. Today starts something that can present itself as a real challenge. We just have to be patient and consistent really is the key with all of this. So today we're starting our first training day. Now Josie, our oldest dairy cow that has been here with us for many years, will not be that big of a deal with her. The challenge is going to be presented really with our dairy girls that are new. Some of them are first-time mamas, so they don't know what to expect as it is, much less getting milk and going into a stanchion that they have never been in before. Really the key here is getting them comfortable now in the stanchion before they even have their calves, because if they are comfortable going into the stanchion after they have their calves, they're going to be really hungry. They're comfortable enough to make their way into the stanchion, makes it a lot easier on us. So you have a lot of things working against you if you have cows that are in milk with a calf and they don't want to go in the milking area because they have never gone in there before. So it just really helps months in advance to walk them over here, slow introduction, because things can get real frustrating and real difficult if they drop a calf. We try to get them in there, keep them locked in with the calf running around and get them milked out. It can be very stressful. So one of the ways to decrease that stress, decrease mostly for them but for their calves too, is to go ahead now. You see them, this is what you want. You want them to come to you, which some of these still are a little skittish, and cows are sometimes naturally nosy by nature, but you want to get them comfortable enough to where they can go in that stanchion. There's Josie, she's used to it. You want them to get in this routine of being comfortable enough to go in the stanchion where they know they get food. They're comfortable, they go in and they eat. Then the very next step we will work with them is, especially the ones who have never been milked, sometimes they tend to kick, which is not a habit that you want them to form, especially when you're trying to milk them. It can present just a lot of problems. So you go ahead and desensitize them to getting their bag felt on, to that sensation of their bags filling up with milk. You kind of want to go ahead and desensitize them to as much as possible, because when you do that, it doesn't make this experience as stressful. They're a little bit more comfortable. You see Josie, she's our leader. She's the one that's been here with us the longest. She knows the shaking of the bucket. She knows the stanchion. So she naturally, just out of habit, knows exactly what to do. Now here's where they will almost immediately begin to establish dominance, and you're gonna see who goes in first. So Dolly is probably gonna be the dominant one, and she is only lightly bred actually, but this is what we want to do with them in this stage. There, see, we want her to get comfortable enough. She's hesitant. She will eventually stop that. Right now, she just doesn't feel comfortable with going in the stanchion, but she will eventually get comfortable enough. She knows where the food's at. She can smell it. She's gonna ease her way in there. Colby, she's gone in. Now at this point in stage, when we get her in, we slowly let her get comfortable enough to go in. She gets a taste of that food. She's like, oh, I'm here for it. And it might take even a couple of days. So after a couple of days of doing that, just kind of letting them go in and out, they'll eventually get comfortable enough. Some are more skittish than others, But they will literally go in, they'll find out where their food's at. We can lock them in from behind. Once we do that, we just get them comfortable enough, just a couple of times. We're pulling that bar, we're locking them in. We're pulling that bar, we're locking them in. Once they get in and they get comfortable with us after several days of pulling that bar, locking them in, then we start rubbing on their bag. Once we start rubbing on their bag, it's pretty much smooth sailing from there, unless they try to kick. That is a whole nother issue in itself. We do have a cow can't kick, but we've actually never had to use it. See that Josie is in. She is our milk cow. What Colby's doing right now is giving her a little bit of calcium, an extra calcium. There is something that older jerseys or just dairy in themselves are a little bit more prone to. It's called milk fever, and it's just where they lose calcium at a rapid rate. Their muscles start becoming extremely fatigued because your muscles have to have calcium to properly function, which also affects their breathing and their heart. So they basically die. Sometimes it's just within hours, but the onset can actually happen a couple of weeks before they deliver. So if we can go ahead and begin to pump her up with some calcium now so that she doesn't have any problems when she delivers, it will likely help save her life. And right now, they're seeing one in, they're seeing her eating. They want to go in, and like I said, some are going to be a little bit more shy than others and standoffish than others, but it's just part of the process. They will all have to go in there at least some point in today and eat some food and at least stand there today. That is today's goal, and as time progresses they will become more and more comfortable with that, and it just makes, when they have babies, it makes it so much easier. It is not easy by any means, it just makes it a little bit easier.
You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run.
Gus has actually been in the stanchion once or twice.
3 times.
A couple of times. So you can see that she's already, y'all saw her just kind of maneuver on in. She was just a teeny bit hesitant, but for the most part went on in, absolutely no problem at all. Now these two over here have never been in the stanchion at all. We've never really worked with them. She's only just now bred, so she won't actually be milking until the end of next summer anyway, but it's not going to hurt for her to go ahead and start walking in some. But Buttercup, the light Jersey, she is due around when Gus is due, so they really don't have a choice. They've got to kind of get used to going in, and this is our goal. We want them to start coming in, slowly coming in, getting used to going in, locking them in, and doing exactly what Colby is doing. Start rubbing on them. She has never kicked at us. These other two, especially that one right there, is a feisty little thing. I have seen her run up and down the fence line. She's just real hyper and active. I figured they're going to be real fun, but you know, this is a great first start.
Where will you go? Won't you miss the ones you know? I'll be here, hanging on, waiting for your call. Seems like time as a wave passing by, leave a mark in our minds that turn to memories. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, gone.
Not really seen how that went. Of course, Josie was pretty easy. Actually, Gus was really easy too. Dolly went in and ate a little bit and then kind of scooted out, but we're not real concerned about her right now. Where we really had the trouble at was with Buttercup, and that's the thing that we were telling y'all about. There's some are just a little bit more skittish than others. I mean, they're like humans in a sense of they have their own personalities, you know. And Buttercup is still just a little nervous. She's still a little skittish, and she would go in and stand there for like 1 Mississippi and right back out. So it is going to take a couple of more days really working with her. The flow is probably going to be Josie as the dominant for right now because she's the one in milk, then Gus, then Buttercup will be the last one. It's going to take some time. We didn't even try to lock her in today. We just want her to start going in, getting comfortable there. It will be a little bit of a challenge because you saw, you know, if she was to drop a baby, it just doesn't happen overnight. That is the things that you don't want to have to face and you don't want to have to deal with when it's time to milk. So we go ahead and address all these issues right now before there's even a calf on the ground. We want to make sure that they're comfortable and in a routine so that we don't have to deal with this plus a calf, because a calf, there's a whole lot of fun in it as well. And it's really just that simple. Stanchion training, getting them in there, letting them realize, hey, this is where I come to get my treats. I just need to go in, I'm gonna get locked in and my bag is gonna get rubbed on or I'm gonna get milked out, you know, whichever season we're in, whether it's training or milking. But if you're considering even having a family milk cow, that is something that definitely needs to be done. You need to stanchion train, if at all possible, ahead of time, because it is vital that they feel comfortable or it's going to make your milking session really complicated. Not that it can't be done, because we've been there, we've done it. We bought a cow off of a dairy farm that was actually in milk, and it was a little complicated because she didn't want to go where she was supposed to go. She was not used to it, she was not familiar with it, she didn't know us, she wasn't with her herd. So just a lot of kinks to work out there, but overall they've done really good. We'll start this process now. It'll be a process from here on out, just a matter of taking them in, letting them eat, doing what they're supposed to do, then they go. That way when the time comes, it makes life a whole lot less stressful when we have a calf on the ground and the mamas have to be milked out. So y'all seen the process of what it looks like to stanchion train.
Yes.
Buttercup is gonna need some tweaking, she's gonna need some work, but she will eventually get it.
We have a whole video on how we stanchion train a heifer. How you do their legs, how you do their back, how you formulate them. That way they know to get comfortable in the stanchion and how to feed them.
So I hope y'all enjoyed this video of what our afternoon really looked like this afternoon of taking the girls in and starting this process. Happy homesteading, y'all.
Happy homesteading.
Hey, I heard you want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town.